Hey everybody, welcome to this video. Today's video is my April wrap up. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Evie, if you guys don't know. I do a lot of book related videos, wrap ups, TBRs, shopping hauls. There's also a week of life in the life of a book lover, which episode 2 will be coming soon. What else? Little library tours, which are always fun. So if you're into that kind of thing, then please subscribe and click the notification bell so you know when it's all coming through. I also on my channel do other shopping hauls as well, like Kmart, online shops, whatever shops. Yeah, there is also a bunch of planning videos as well, so if you're into like sticker planning and washi planning and all of that sort of stuff, especially happy planner related, then I do a whole heap of videos on that as well. But anyway, today is all about April, what I read in April. I read 8 books. One was a NetGalley book, so when I get to that one, I'll just pop a picture up on the screen. I have my reading journal with me, so I know all the ratings and everything. So if I look down at any time at that, we'll grab it and turn pages and stuff. That is what I'm doing. Yeah, so I'll pretty much just do them in order that I read them in. Yeah, so I was super keen to get to this first one. It's The Littlest Library by Poppy Alexandra. As I said, I love little libraries and doing tours and stuff like that, and as soon as I found out that there was a book on The Littlest Library, I decided to grab it. And I've been keen to get to it, and April was that month. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. And it was lovely. It had lots of bookish elements, obviously, of them setting up the little library. It was very small town vibe, which was really, really nice, actually. I definitely recommend it to any book lover out there. And for my challenges, it met one of my challenges that I'm doing for a local book club, and it met the challenge to read a book with a bookish theme. So yeah, The Littlest Library. If you haven't read it, definitely go find it. It's a good one. Okay, next up we have Matthew Perry's memoir. I actually listened to him on audio books as well, on Audible I should say, speak through his book and his story, and to me I could feel his hurt, I could feel his pain, I could feel his story a lot coming from him, so I'm so glad I did that. Even if you don't have the book and you just want to listen to it, I suggest you do, because it's really, really good to listen to. I just sort of like to follow along. And I thought, because it's Matthew Perry speaking his own story, I've got to listen to it as well. So it's called Friends, Lovers, and a Big Terrible Thing. I gave it 5 stars. It is a very touching story and a very heartfelt story. Yeah, so just be aware of that. I mentioned that listening to him speak, it was really, really good. What else? It met my local book club challenge for a memoir biography read, which was good. And definitely recommend it if you like that kind of read. Yeah, so yeah, definitely recommend that one. I have a few 5 stars in April actually. There were some downers as well, which we'll get to. This next one though was also 5 stars, and it's called If the Shoe Fits, which is the first in the Meant to Be series. And I had the second book in the series on my shelf since like the middle of last year. And I finally got this one in the month before April, March. And yeah, obviously I wanted to start with the first book. I loved this. It was awesome. It gave me Bachelor and Bachelorette vibes. The show, because it's based on that kind of thing. But it was also nice that the main character wasn't your typical like skinny girl. She was someone that was, you know, a bigger sort of girl, a plus size lady, and that falling in love actually happens to those people as well. So that's what I love. I was captivated from the word go right through, and I'm looking forward to the second book, which is By the Book, which is currently on my bedside table to be read in May. And it also meets my A to Z challenge for the letter I. So yeah, definitely recommend if you like rom-coms and you love Bachelorette and Bachelor vibes. It's a good one. Haven't read the second one yet, so can't tell you anything on that one until I do my May wrap up. So the next book I read was the NetGalley book, so I'll pop a picture up on the screen. It's called Tag Me for Murder, and it took me a while to get started on this book. I actually attempted to start it in March and probably even February as well. It took me like 3 or 4 attempts to get into it and get reading it. And I think that was mainly because, and I found this out in April, that there was this was like the second to a series. I had no idea before I did a bit of research, because there was no like character build up or anything like that, like you get obviously in every book, unless it's in a series. So I just sort of said, you know, it would have been nice to know if there was a first book to read to get, you know, involved with all the characters and so forth beforehand, because that's why I found it difficult to get into. Once it got rolling though, I liked that it was a murder story, like in the current world, like our world, like according to like social media events and having parties and sort of like in my age group as well. So that was really, really nice, and I did tell them that. It met my challenge for the letter T for A to Z, and I gave it 3 stars. So yeah, that was my thoughts. It was an okay read, and that was probably being generous, to be honest, because it didn't really captivate me and until about the middle and the end, and yeah, it just didn't have the right vibes for me altogether. But anyway, we moved on from there, and sadly we went a bit lower down with our reading. I read this book here called All the Birds Were Singing by Evie Pavone. One of my challenges for my local book club was to read a book with an author of the same first name. And I found this one like at a op shop, thrift shop, for like $2, so I just sort of went with this one. I only gave it 2 stars. It had nothing to do with birds singing, as it says on the title. So I really don't know why it was called that. It had a lot to do with sheep and shearing and being a farmer, and it also had a lot of like abuse stuff happening in there as well, which made me a bit uncomfortable. But I gave it a go for the prompt, and I got through it for that reason mainly. So yeah, it wasn't my cup of tea, and I didn't connect to the main characters at all. And yeah, the ending was disappointment. Because the whole way through it was like, the question of what is killing my sheep on my farm, but there was no answer to that question. So I went through the whole book for what? No answer. So that was like really frustrating and annoying. But anyway, I read it and met that prompt, and then I was just like, nah, see you later. So I don't recommend that one, or the one that I previously spoke about, really. But then we had an amazing read, and I'm so looking forward to the rest of this series. I loved this. 5 stars. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. Loved the author's writing. Loved this book. It was 5 stars. I have the rest of the series, and this month I'm hoping to read book 2 and obviously move on from there. Yeah, Holly Jackson has definitely become a favorite author in April and March for me. In March, I read 5 Survive, which I loved as well. There may be like YA for the younger age group, but I don't mind. If it's as amazing as this, I don't mind if it's classed as YA. I had no particular challenge. I was just super keen to read it because I love like murder mystery sort of stories. So yeah. Loved it, definitely recommend it, and I'm hoping to love the second book this month. You'll hear about that in my May wrap up if I read it, hopefully. The next book I read was called Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall. This book I gave 3 stars. This one was a book club online group that I'm a part of, and this book was selected by one of those members. It is very, very long. It was okay, very slow burn, nothing really happened until like the end. But it had sort of, to me, it had the message that came across that it's a good encouragement to stay true to who you are as a person. That sort of came across in the story for me, so I thought that was a good message. It also met my A to Z challenge for the letter B, and yeah, I gave it 3 stars. It was alright. And then I think we're up to the last book already. Book number 8. Yep. So the last one I managed to read was The Do-Over, which was my first Lynn Painter book, and boy, it was awesome. I gave it 5 stars. I loved it. Very enjoyable. Definitely will read more books by Lynn Painter. I've got more on my shelf to read, so that's a good thing. It didn't meet a particular challenge, but I've been interested in this author's book, and I heard that The Do-Over was a really, really good story, so I was keen to read it. So just read it pretty much. Yeah, so I had lots of 5 stars, but a few downers as well, but that's how reading rolls, isn't it? Yeah, so that was everything that I read in April. All of this plus the NetGalley book. Hoping to read about 7 or 8 books again this month. Yeah, we'll see how we go. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you missed my main tibia, it is back a few videos. So just flick back, or it is in the playlist for booktube for the year. So if you go to that, it should just automatically play apparently all the book videos. But yeah, stay tuned for everything coming up. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me. If you've read any of these, maybe pop a comment below, or if you're keen to read one of them, let me know. Yeah, thank you so much, and I'll catch you all very, very soon. Bye.